I work as a salesperson for a medical device company. I've been in this job for about 10 years. I used to visit hospitals daily, and it was at a university hospital where I met my future wife, Emily. A friend of mine, who worked as a physical therapist at that hospital, introduced me to her, saying, "I'm sure you two will hit it off." Back then, I was really into online games and always asked my friend to join me, saying, "It's a fun game, let's play together." When I brought it up, it turned out she also loved that game, so we hit it off talking about the game from the first time we met. She always worked efficiently at the hospital and had a gentle smile for her patients, coming across as a very dependable woman. But whenever she saw me, she'd run over excitedly, her cheeks flushed, and share updates like a child.
I finally got that item.
Or,
I was off yesterday, so I spent 5 hours straight gaming.
I was charmed by this side of Emily and completely fell for her. Being an introvert, I hardly had any experience dating women. So, I grew more and more fond of her, who always talked to me with a smile. Our conversations at the hospital weren't enough, so we started meeting outside, visiting each other's place. She was a woman who could express her feelings clearly and had many friends. She is complete opposite of me, but at the same time she was dazzling. Naturally, we started dating, and after about 2 years, we got married. Soon after our marriage, our son was born, and I've been grateful for the happiness that has come my way since meeting her. Our son is adorable, and I take countless photos of him every day, often laughed at by her.
You are a doting parent.
She took maternity leave, getting help from her parents, who lived nearby, as she navigated first-time parenthood. Her parents adored their first grandchild, and I was thankful for the loving environment our son was being raised in. However, when our son turned 1, the university hospital she had worked at pleaded for her.
We want you to return.
So we started leaving our son at a nearby daycare, and she returned to her nursing job.
I wish I could stay with him until he was at least 3.
Despite repeatedly expressing this regret, she went back to work, but within 3 months, she adjusted to the new routine, taking on night shifts like before.
I just want to be with him at least when he's sleeping.
Initially, she would say this while holding our son, but lately, she's been entrusting him to me or her parents more, taking on more night shifts. I guess her sense of duty as a nurse is strong. At first, I admired that about her. But as I saw her prioritizing work over family more, I began to feel uneasy. I knew how busy a nurse at a university hospital could be since meeting her, and I thought I understood her job. I tried to support Emily as much as possible, but during my busy periods, we heavily relied on her parents. My own parents had passed away, so my in-laws were the only ones we could turn to. Her parents have always been kind, never showing any signs of annoyance while looking after our son. So, I frequently treated them to nice dinners or movie tickets they enjoyed. I hope we can all go on a trip once work settles down. Thinking this, I worked harder, doing my best with household chores to lighten her load. As the days passed by in a hectic manner, I decided to go to the university hospital where she works for the first time in a while to do some sales work. Thinking she would have finished her night shift and gone home, I looked around the hospital when my physical therapist friend spotted me. "It's been a while, how are you?" He talked to me and invited. "Do you want to talk later?" After a brief chat. Once I finished my sales activities here, it'd be time for my lunch break. I agreed to meet in the cafeteria during my lunch break, and I headed to my work. After finishing my work, I headed to the cafeteria, where my friend was waiting at an outdoor table. Over a light lunch and casual conversation, my friend, with a troubled look, broached a difficult topic as our coffee arrived. "Lately, have you noticed any changes in your wife?" His hesitant manner made me anxious. "She's been busy with work since returning. I'm spending as much time as possible on household and parenting duties, so we're both putting our favorite game on hold for now." "Is that so?" Trying to stay calm and smiling, I replied, but my friend gave a weak smile before reluctantly sharing some troubling news. "Since I introduced her to you, so I feel I have to tell you." The news he shared was devastating. As we parted after lunch, my friend showed genuine concern. "Are you okay? If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know." I expressed my gratitude to such a kind friend for today's matter and headed back to the office. On my way home that day, I sorted through what my friend had told me and made a certain decision. One day, about a week later, I called her after her night shift during my lunch break. Until now, she always said,
"I'm just so sleepy after night shifts, I go straight to bed."
So, I'd always been careful not to call her right after her shifts, but when I called, Emily answered the phone with a slightly annoyed voice.
"Hello? What's up?"
"Where are you right now?" When I asked, she replied irritably, trying to end the call.
"What kind of question is that? I'm at home, about to go to sleep. I'm tired from the night shift, so I'm hanging up now."
But I didn't let her hang up. "I'm actually off today and at home."
"What? Why?"
When I stated the fact with an emotionless voice, she sounded quite shaken. "I had some vacation days accumulated." "By the way, Emily, why would you lie?" As I calmly returned the question.
I'm actually on my way home right now. I was just too tired to explain and ended up saying I was home."
She answered, seemingly in a panic and making a lot of noise.
Right. Since you're at home, should I buy something for lunch on my way back?"
Trying to cover up, she asked with a brighter tone. Unable to tolerate her attempt to gloss things over any longer, I decided to get to the point. "No, that's not necessary. Actually, you probably don't even have time for lunch. I think you'll be called in by the hospital director soon. It's better if you head back to the hospital instead of going home."
"What?"
"Yeah. I think Dr. Collins or someone will be called in too." "Oh, are you with him right now by any chance?" She let out an incredulous sound, but as I continued without concern, she seemed at a loss for words.
"Called in? Why would you say something like that? I work with Dr. Collins, but we're done with our work. It's impossible for us to be together right now."
After a moment of silence, she started speaking in a coaxing tone, trying to gauge my reaction. "I already heard from a friend that you and this Dr. Collins have been quite close. I even have evidence." I informed her matter-of-factly, without paying much attention to her reaction, and Emily, possibly thinking of my friend, suddenly sounded indignant.
"That person, he always acted like he knew nothing when he saw me. Sneaking around and snitching is the worst."
As if to paint my friend as the villain. Just then, I could hear someone speaking to her on the other side of the phone.
"Did you say something to the director? I've actually been called in."
She asked me accusingly, sounding annoyed. "Ah. I see. You're with him right now." "That's right. I have proof of you two walking arm in arm together and of you in front of his condo. I submitted those photos to the director." Yes, the truth I heard from my friend was about her affair. She had been having an affair with a doctor in the same ward, and it seemed they were quite close even inside the hospital. On the days the doctor had night shifts, she was also invariably assigned to night duty, and after their shifts, they quickly left the hospital and appeared to spend time together afterward. My friend happened to see them entering the doctor's condo near the hospital before his shift and took photos as evidence. I honestly thought it was inconsiderate, given it's near the hospital where we work. My friend told me with difficulty that their relationship was now the talk of the hospital. Emily, who took pride in her work and adored our son so much. That Emily was involved in such a thoughtless affair that became hospital gossip. I found it hard to believe, but after seeing the photos my friend took, I had no choice but to accept the reality. When I mentioned having proof, she panicked.
What? Photos? What kind of photos are they?
But when I remained silent, she suddenly started sobbing.
I'm sorry. I must have done something to be misunderstood. I'm not having an affair. I just went back with the doctor to borrow a book. I never did anything to betray you. You should ask Dr. Collins. Believe me.
You've got some nerve. Do you usually walk arm in arm or embrace just any colleague? Maybe you couldn't wait to get inside, but how could you cheat so blatantly? It's all captured in photos, you know. As I explained dismissively, she seemed to give up on trying to deceive any further and suddenly became aggressive towards me.
Taking such private photos, how low can you go? Yes, I love Dr. Collins. He has a promising future as a doctor, you know? There's no way you, just a regular salaried worker, could ever compare to him. With your salary, I'd have to work tirelessly forever. A man with no prospects like you, I guess a little cheating here and there shouldn't even be your concern.
She lashed out at me rapidly, a stark contrast to her earlier coquettish behavior, and then she hung up the phone. She would probably go to the director's office with him afterward. I truly hoped she would reflect on her rash actions. Later, when I went to pick up our son from daycare and we were playing together, she called me.
Aren't you at home? Where are you?
We're not coming back there anymore.
What kind of joke is that? It's not funny.
She remained defiant, even in such a situation. Was this the woman I had chosen to walk through life with? I was more disgusted with my lack of judgment in women than saddened by her betrayal. I've bought a condo and moved out. So, I won't be returning there. A moving company will come to pick up my stuff later. Also, a lawyer will visit you soon regarding the divorce proceedings. Take care.
Wait. I got fired from the hospital. I've lost my job.
She clung to me again, sobbing, as I tried to hang up. Who do you think would forgive someone who cheats during work hours? Your affair was apparently the talk of the hospital.
Everyone kept quiet until now. But as soon as the director questioned us, they spilled everything about us. I can't believe my own colleagues did that.
Of course. No one wants to be associated with someone like you. Admit your faults for once. I could tell she was silenced over the phone. Then I added, "Oh, and your parents know about the affair. They said you shouldn't come back home." I told her, adding insult to injury.
Everyone is ganging up on me, coward. You are the worst.
She cursed me as expected, but I hung up without engaging further. A few days later, she claimed,
I'll agree to the divorce, but I won't pay alimony, and I want custody of our son.
The nerve, after neglecting our son to have an affair. I was furious but determined to win custody in court. Eventually, I won our son's custody, and she was ordered to pay child support and alimony.
A child needs their mother. I won't accept this.
She screamed and caused a scene when the verdict was announced. Everyone looked on disapprovingly until her parents, who were present in the courtroom, sharply rebuked her. "Stop this disgraceful behavior. This is all your own doing." The courtroom fell silent at their words, and she broke down crying. Of course, I also demanded compensation from her lover, Dr. Collins. He claimed, "I was told their marriage was over and they were in the middle of divorce proceedings. I was deceived. But through my lawyer, I relentlessly pursued him for damages as well." Following this, she was scorned by him, and their relationship quickly fell apart. Later, she changed her tactics.
I had no idea you had enough savings to buy a condo. Impressive.
And
I heard you got promoted to manager recently? That's amazing at your age. You have a bright future.
of course, I brushed off her attempts at reconciliation. "That condo was bought with my savings from before we were married and my personal spending money during our marriage. You have no right to live there after wasting money on your affair. And me, promising. You're the one who called me worthless. Your tune changes too quickly. Now, I'm enjoying life in my new condo with my adorable son." Despite being busy with work, her parents still help out. They are maintaining a good relationship with me, even after the divorce. Emily, however, continues to seek reconciliation. Losing her job at the university hospital and breaking up with her lover. Plus, the scandal of her workplace affair making it difficult for her to find work elsewhere. She seems to be struggling with loneliness and too much free time. She's resorted to ambushing me at work and making persistent calls. If things continue this way, I won't be able to provide a peaceful life for my son, and above all, being followed by Emily in the future will be a great pain for me. So, I'm seriously considering consulting the appropriate authorities to possibly get a restraining order. That's what I've been genuinely thinking about lately.